just take you to a different matter now. Court has adjourned in the Pietermaritzburg High Court in the case of former President Jacob Zuma versus prosecutor Billy Downer. And journalist Karyn Maughan, Ziyanda Ngcobo, is standing by, of course, to bring us the latest. Ziyanda, very good afternoon to you. Perhaps let's start right at the beginning. What forms some of the merits of this case today?
So basically, Karyn Maughan and advocate Billy Downer have made similar arguments, and perhaps at a cosmetic level differ. So for Billy Downer, Jacob Zuma, who's representing, of course, the arms deal prosecutor, was basically saying that the merits of this case are baseless, that in fact the former president has an ulterior motive by trying to bring this private prosecution against Billy Downer and is laying down a foundation so that, if the private prosecution continues, then Billy Downer is, removed from the arms deal trial, and saying that the former president has not actually hidden this fact. Let's listen to what Budlender had to say earlier on.
And so this private prosecution is not only to create delay by itself, it's to lay a foundation to be a springboard for further delay, to now have litigation about whether Mr. Downer should be the prosecutor. And if Mr. Downer declines to withdraw, and if the court says he's not obliged to withdraw, there'll be an appeal against that decision. And if that decision goes against him, then Mr. Zuma will apply for leave, and he'll apply for leave, and he'll apply for leave. And so this prosecution is not just an abuse by itself. It is an abuse which, on Mr. Zuma's counsel's own words, is the foundation for a further abuse which is yet to come, which is a challenge, an application to challenge Mr. Downer's position. And so no one can say we haven't been warned. We've been told we've been given an advance notice of what's going to come. And we say it is the clearest possible example of an abuse.
So Budlender arguing that this is an abuse of court processes. Similar to that is also Karyn Maughan's lawyer, Stephen Budlender, saying the same thing, but also adding that the freedom of expression, the right to freedom of expression on the part of Karyn Maughan has been infringed, arguing as well that at a very fundamental and basic procedural level, when you bring a private prosecution, of course, which would entail, proving Section 7.2a, Section 7.2 rather, of the Criminal Procedures Act, you'd have needed to get that nolli prosequi certificate, which is a certificate of non-prosecution that needs to be issued by the Director of Public Prosecutions, going as far then as reading then the two nolli prosequi certificates issued by the KZN DPP, Elaine Zungu, saying, insofar as the wording is concerned, it makes no reference to Ms. Maughan, and the phrase "with any person" has to be understood insofar as the affidavits of the persons involved in the matter. So emphasizing that, in fact, this action by the former president is a personal vendetta against Karyn Maughan for her reporting of the arms deal trial, and this is an attempt to intimidate and harass her. So they're looking for a punitive cost order to be issued against the former president should then the summons be dismissed, and that he be prevented from ever instituting or resuscitating any form of private prosecution against Karyn Maughan. We also then heard in Paul from friends of the court, some on behalf of Media Monitoring Africa, SANEF, represented by Catherine Kriya. We heard from Vuyo Ngalwana, who was representing Democracy in Action. He was a friend of the court with, the former President Jacob Zuma, as well as Kate Hofmeyer. You'll recall her face from the State Capture Commission. She was representing the Helen Suzman Foundation, and she was a friend of the court for advocate Billy Downer, and basically agreeing with the arguments of Downer, but saying that they fundamentally differ in terms of how the law has been applied insofar as this private prosecution is concerned. In fact, let me quote her. She speaks about how this matter is about it's about Mr. Zuma's conduct alone, and how this, and there's an ulterior purpose, that it's about the misuse of powers. That's the phrase I was looking for that was used by Advocate Kate Hofmeyr. So on Wednesday, when this matter resumes, we'll hear then from Zuma's lawyers, represented by Dalimpofu and Advocate Thabani Masuku, on how they respond to this day's arguments.
Very well, Ziyanda Ngcobo, let's leave it there for now.